Previously on Geek Speak.
I do have somebody to introduce you to. We installed a revolving door, not for you guys. It is not for you guys. It is for the revolving door of Geek Girl co-host that I'm gonna introduce to all of you as the summer months coming this summer. New Geek Girls. The first one is right here in front of me. Her name is Ariel. Hi, Ariel.
Hi.
Welcome to the Geek Speak. We know each other already, but we're just gonna be formal and say, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
Hello, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm so glad you're all joined with us today.
But before we do all that, you guys heard the revolving door, not broken. Producer Kyle didn't break it. I did, but we fixed it. Ariel came through it last week. Hi.
Hi.
She's still here. She couldn't get that.
I actually left and then came back voluntarily.
Yeah, I thought when it fell, you were stuck in there. So.
Well, that's why I had to fix it.
Yeah, and somebody else, good thing you did, somebody else walked in through it. Rachel.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
Every time I'm going to go Star Wars. I am the Star Wars fan.
Hey, that's not me.
That's not me either. Actually, this week on the Geek Speak Show, it is just the girls.
It's just Rachel and I here. Ariel's here. I'm back from my trip. I had a wonderful time on my trip down to San Diego. I put my place in line, all ready to go. So I've got
Comic-Con?
For Comic-Con. So I've got my lawn chair all set up and like a cold beverage waiting for me. So I'm all set for that Hall H line. I'm set. I'm first in line.
Welcome to the Geek Speak Show. Yeah, brand new show, big old show, because something is happening this week that you may have heard about. You may even be there yourself right now as you're listening to this. San Diego Comic-Con. Anybody who's anybody in geek culture is there as we speak. If you are, cool. I'm not. But Ariel, Louise are there. We're going to hear from them in just a little bit. We're going to hear from everybody, including, of course, it's not Comic-Con if you don't hear from David Glanzer, the Director of Public Relations and Marketing for them. So he will call in just a few minutes. We're also going to hear from Morgan Spurlock because he did a documentary on Comic-Con. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Geek Speak Show. Yes, all of us are almost here. Rachel's in New York somewhere. So I'm Henry.
And I am Batman. No, I'm not Batman.
Where's Ariel? Give my Ariel back.
Ariel's here. Ariel just lost her voice talking over the Comic-Con crowds for 5 days straight.
No, just tell them the truth. You're actually getting ready for a couple of days from now. Dark Knight Rises.
I've been practicing really hard to kill my throat and be as gravelly as I can be.
He will come on sometime, not sure when, but you will hear from Captain Kirk soon on the Geek Speak Show. So now, who wants to end the show?
I think in honor of you coming back, Rachel, why don't you close us off this week?
I love doing this. All right, guys. Check us out next week where we will speak more geek.
I'm ready. What are we doing again?
This is the Geek Speak Show. Welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
Interviews with the movers and shakers in geek culture.
Hi, I'm Chris Hardwick.
I'm Zach Whedon.
This is Mark Zickrey.
This is Scott Marcano, Mr. Diablo.
I'm Ralph Bakshi.
The Geek Speak Show is powered by Collider.com, GeekTyrant.com, RamaScreen.com, and Mightyville.com. Get ready to speak geek on the Geek Speak Show.
God bless the geeks.
Here's your host, Henry.
What is this thing again? Oh, yeah. Hey, welcome back to the Geek Speak Show. I feel refreshed. I really do. It's like
I know.
Now
I'm so
I know how Rip
excited.
Van Winkle felt. After 20 years sleep, and then he wakes up and is like, hey, ready to go again. It was a month, not 20 years, but we are back. Rachel is here. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, what's up?
Although you are still a whole, not continent, but a whole country away from me on the other side on the East Coast.
Yeah, but my heart is still there with you guys, so.
She left it here in San Francisco. You know the song.
I did.
Ariel is not here. She is still part of the show, but she had some things to take care of, some grown-up things to take care of. So she's not gone from the show. She'll still be here. She'll be in every now and then.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, growing up or taking care of it?
Taking care of it.
Or both.
Or both. I mean, let's be real. We're all still little kids in our heads.
Oh, yeah, you with your Star Wars, well, I was going to say toys, but action figures.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
And well, before we do anything else, let's also say a thank you to Fred Greenhalgh and Final Room Productions for allowing us to play the first 5 episodes of The Cleansed. Also gave me an excuse not to put together best of shows. So the cleanse is there. If you guys like that and you're hooked, go to thecleanse.com or finalroomproductions.com. It's all on there for you. We gave you the exclusive. I guess they call it the director's cut. You got it free right here on the Geek Speak Show all last month. But now we're back. But listen anyway. And let's start, of course, talking Star Wars with Rachel. So you celebrated a little something in, where was it, Orlando this year?
It was in Orlando again this year, and it was a huge celebration.
Yeah, Star Wars celebration. What is this, 6, 7? What are they on now?
This was 6, yep. They also announced while we were there, the last day they talked about Celebration Europe 2, which is going to be held in Germany next year.
So let me interrupt. Let me see if you agree with this. I said this once when they came to WonderCon and they announced the Japan one at the time. If you remember, they had it in Japan one year.
Yeah.
I always keep asking, why do they never have it in the home of Star Wars, which is right here in San Francisco? They go everywhere but.
See, I think it has to do with 2 things. Number 1, having some place that's large enough, and 2, booking out far enough. So I don't know. Honestly, I would go anywhere for it, so I'm not really concerned. However, Orlando is really, really sticky at the end of August, in case any of the planners are listening. So that's not quite so much fun, but it's okay. I'll take it.
You mean because of the humidity, not anything else?
Yeah, the humidity.
Family show here. You don't know where you were going with that one, but
disgusting.
Yes. So what did you see? What did you learn? Who did you celebrity run-ins, all that stuff?
There was so much cool stuff. My favorite part about it is all the merchandise, which I think I've mentioned before.
Well, I'm shocked.
So there was so many cool things. I had VIP passes this time, which for anybody that has the option next time is totally worth it. So they invited all of the VIP, all of the artists and actors and even some of the exhibitors to come in a day before the show and get a preview of the official Celebration store, which is most of the exclusives, right? And you can go in and buy all your stuff before the convention even starts.
So now I see why you got that.
I know. So that was totally worth it. So we went in and dropped I think I dropped $300 or $400. My friend dropped $1,000.
What recession?
Oh my God, yeah. But it was awesome. There was more T-shirts this time, which were part of the exclusives and stuff. And I think I walked out with 10 T-shirts. So that's crazy. The funniest stuff, though, they had a Gamorrean guard. So for those of you that don't know, it's like the pig guy in Jabba's palace.
From Return of the Jedi. You
got it. They had him as a piggy bank.
I get it.
So that was hilarious. They had a lot of cool stuff. They didn't do as many exclusives from the individual vendors this year, which was kind of disappointing, but at the same time, we didn't have to run around standing in a bunch of big lines, as often. But they had a Hallmark ornament, which was really popular. They had a Gentle Giant. They had some figures. They were smaller figures in the store, and there was Mara Jade and Quinlan Voss, and there was 4 of them, and they were pretty cool too. And those sold out, I think, before we even got to the first day. So.
One of the big things I read about that weekend was Star Wars detours. Did you see anything, find out anything about that?
So there was a panel about this, which was really cool. And Seth Green is the one doing the Star Wars detours. And basically I guess Lucas sat him down and was like, I need you to almost rebrand or make these characters more of an icon. And Seth Green was like, how do I make characters that are recognizable by their silhouettes more iconic? So he was like, oh my God. So he took it, and it's a 3D show, animated 3D, and made them chibi characters, small little, almost anime looking guys.
And chibi or chubby?
Chibi, animation, Japanese animation style, where they're short and squished and cute, So he made them like that, and it's about them when they're younger. Some of them are teenagers and things, and it's nothing really with the storyline of the original movies, but it has to do with them interacting with each other just in the universe, everyday stuff. Hilarious. He's got it up online where you can watch the previews and little trailers and things that they played at the panel at Celebration, and it is so funny. And it's so different from the rest of the stuff like Clone Wars or anything that's very, following a storyline or whatever. So it's definitely worth checking out, and it's hilarious.
So now you got to play the Ariel part. This is where Ariel talks about her celebrity run-ins. Who did you run into during Celebration?
So I ended up going to a couple 501st parties, which they're amazing. They do good stuff. And so I got to meet all kinds of people, which was great. I got to meet Sam Witwer, who does the voice of Darth Maul for the Clone Wars, and he also is the guy that is the Star Killer for the video games Force Unleashed. I got to meet Dave Filoni, who of course is the director of the Clone Wars, and I actually talked shop with him. And when you meet celebrities, you don't really want to be like, oh, I'm an artist too, blah, blah, blah. But I ended up, he asked what I did, and we were talking about things and where I went to school, and of course San Francisco, and so we talked about that, and it was really cool. And he was all like, yeah, that's awesome. You keep doing what you love.
He hired you on the spot.
Well, and so he did introduce me to some people, other people that were on the show. And when we left, he was going to go, do his rounds. And I said, you need another voice for that show.
So then I guess this is Rachel's last show. To see, I lose Ariel and Rachel during the break.
So hopefully that works out. I don't expect, of course, he's a busy guy, but you got to throw it out there in the universe. Dickie Beers did the stunt work for the original Boba Fett. And so I met him, and he was hilarious, and hung out with Daniel Logan a couple nights, and that guy is hilarious and hot. So, that works too.
That's the Fett, for those of you who don't know who that is.
Who is also my favorite. So as a matter of fact, I think the word or the term Boba Fetish came up a couple times, and I laughed really hard. So there was the guy that is like the model they use for the 3D character of Quinlan Vos, the Jedi. He's pretty funny too. The voice of Grievous, tons of people, and they were all so amazing. I love the actors and the voice actors. So that's a good time.
Is heaven for Rachel. Anything in Star Wars like that?
Yes, it was so great.
But, like I said, she's probably going to get hired, going to be one of the voices on Clone Wars the next season. So, like I said, over the break, I lose Rachel and Ariel. But it's okay. It's okay, because I'm going to take a little break right now, reset everything, everybody calm down, and I'm going to introduce you to some of the new voices that you'll hear on the Geek Speak Show. Stay right there.
The Geek Speak Show will be right back. Geek Movie Rewind. Geek Movie Rewind. The movies that made you a geek.
Except for the part where you didn't see them.
Here's the Geek Speak Show's resident movie geek, Louise Cray.
Hi guys, Louise here, back with another installment of Geek Movie Rewind. How's your summer been? Good? Great. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a film released in the late 90s, featuring a handsomely befuddled protagonist who knows that something is not quite right with the world around him, and who slowly learns that he may be the only key to unlocking the mystery. Nope, I'm not talking about 1999's The Matrix, much as I love it dearly. The film we're here to discuss today is 1998's much-overlooked Dark City, directed by Alex Proyas. Dark City seems to have gotten lost in the mix a bit. It was critically lauded by some, but panned by others, and obviously some similar films from the same era have found a more widespread audience. But it's got a bit of a cult following, and the following is well-deserved. If you were the kind of person who was of an age to be really into Proyas' seminal goth classic The Crow, you'll probably dig Dark City. If you were not a fan of his somewhat unfortunate adaptation of Asimov's I, Robot, that's irrelevant. Anyway, point is, you'll probably dig Dark City. The movie doesn't waste any time throwing you into the narrative. Basically, we get right down to brass tacks as a strangely breathless Kiefer Sutherland explains to us right there in the opening monologue that there are these dudes, called the Strangers, who came here, and are controlling things, and it's bad. After some establishing shots of a city, which is, it should be obvious, rather dark, we zoom in through a round window high on a building, a Proyas signature shot, and are introduced to our main character, a naked amnesiac Rufus Sewell, who awakes in a bathtub in a strange apartment with no memory of who he is or how he got there. As he tries to piece together what's going on, the telephone rings. It's Kiefer Sutherland's Dr. Schreiber, calling him from a public payphone, no less, lit in sickly green light. 1 year before The Matrix, remember? Schreiber tells him to get out of there, now, and for various reasons, Rufus wisely listens to the random on the phone and flees, narrowly escaping a group of pale, bald men dressed all in black, eerily similar, and not quite human, the Strangers. And we're off. Our hero emerges into a strange vintage world of fedoras and automats and perpetual night. His name is Murdoch, for the purposes of clarity. He doesn't remember the woman who is supposed to be his wife. The sleep the sinister strangers place on everyone in the city each midnight has no effect on him. As Murdoch delves deeper into who he is and what's going on, the reality of the city begins to unravel around him spectacularly. And I don't want to give too much away, but it seems that our hero may turn out to be not just an ordinary guy, but somebody very special. Yep, year before The Matrix. Much like The Matrix, the arresting visuals of this film will stick with you. Dark City is gorgeous. Right from the setup, you're firmly established in a dark, sweeping city that owes as much to German Expressionism and Metropolis as it does to Blade Runner. Which, aside, have you all been good boys and girls and watched Blade Runner? Seriously. The titular city is a mixture of deco, of neo-noir, a sort of catch-all of vintage imagery, and something about the depth of the practical sets really resonates with me. It's very rich and textured, and it's got that mixture of antique decadence and industrial decay that was a very big thing for a while in the 90s. Speaking of Metropolis, you've got some very Fritz Langian clock imagery in there, and some reoccurring spirals, which, pay attention, it's all important. There's also a cohesion to the framing of the shots in Dark City, a very deliberate placing of large rectangles in nearly every shot, similar to what Luc Besson did with circles in his 1997 masterpiece, The Fifth Element. That's right, I said masterpiece, and then I said The Fifth Element. Come at me. One thing I really dig about this flick is that visually, things don't always happen exactly as you'd expect. Even now, in an age lousy with what-is-reality-themed works of cinema, parts of Dark City are startling and original. There's a bit of the thrill of the, wait, what? That I find lacking today in a lot of art, even in things that I enjoy. You don't notice it's missing until it shows up again and delights you, you know? To quote Roger Ebert, quoting Herzog, "If it is true, as the German director Werner Herzog believes, that we live in an age starved of new images, then Dark City is a film to nourish us." It's also somewhat straightforward in its weirdness. If the film wants us to know that these strangers are growing a building up out of the ground like a tree, that's exactly what it shows us. It's not suggested or hinted at, it's not an allegory. That building is being birthed out of the depths of wherever, and we're watching it. And there are, I gotta say, just some delicious miniature effect shots of that nature in this movie. No film, even a mind-bending sci-fi thriller, can get by on special effects alone. The casting of this movie is pretty brilliant. You've got Rufus Sewell, who we've seen in one of my favorite silly fun movies, A Knight's Tale, and more recently in one of my favorite action movies of the year, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Rufus is always fun to watch. William Hurt is the police inspector trying to round Murdoch up and arrest him for murder. A strikingly unattractive Kiefer Sutherland as Dr. Schreiber, his stilted cadence and wonky eye a far, far cry from any sexy vampires or rugged CTU agents. And Jennifer Connelly plays Murdoch's sultry lounge singer wife. Connelly works so well in the 30s, 40s aesthetic, I don't know why anybody ever bothers casting her in modern stuff. Speaking of awesome period films starring Jennifer Connelly, have you guys heard about this alleged reboot of The Rocketeer? What's that about? No. Seriously? Somebody explain to me immediately what the meaning of that tomfoolery is, because why? Is nothing sacred? Why not make a new Rocketeer adventure if that's your bag? You don't have to remake an adaptation. Where do they get this stuff? Who is in charge? Get me them. Oh, and P.S., one of the main strangers is played by none other than Richard O'Brien, Rocky Horror fans. Talk about cult movies. Anyway, that's it. I think Dark City is a great and underrated entry into the genre. It's maybe a little dated, perhaps a bit high concept, and the long-term implications of the ending don't really hold up to close scrutiny, but I dig it. You should watch it. What else matters? Let me know what you think by dropping me a line at louise@thegeekspeakshow.com. And that's it for this week, kids. Till next time, keep liking things, loving stuff, and being excellent to each other.
That's the Geek Movie Rewind. Agree? Disagree?
Send your comments or suggestions to Louise at thegeekspeakshow.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Hardwick from Things, and you're listening to the Geek Speak Show.
Now back to the Geek Speak Show. Kind of getting the hang of this. Hey, Rachel.
What's up?
My microphone, my blood pressure.
Everything.
Yeah, so we're back on the Geek Speak Show. So like I said, maybe she's leaving me. She's going to get hired by Lucasfilm and be one of the voices for the Clone Wars.
You guys should all be crossing your fingers for me.
No, I need you here. I need you here. I want you here. We want you. I'm gonna send you a poster with me pointing at you saying, I want you on the Geek Speak Show.
But I want to be a bounty hunter.
Yeah, her and the Feds. You guys, by the way, you guys should go to our Twitter. What is it? At Geek Speak Show 1, the number 1. She tweeted a picture of herself, actually, that her entire costume is on there. I forgot about that. So if you guys do want to see the real... What did you call yourself? What was your name? It wasn't Django. What was it?
No. My name is Vomer, which is the flower of Mandalore.
And you wonder why she's on this show. So... Like I said, I'm going to introduce you to some of the new voices that you're here. Some are features, some are just co-hosts, but it's new voices that weren't here before. Like I said, Ariel is still part of the show. She's not on the show. She has to take care of some grown-up things, and then she'll come back. You'll see her on the video show. You'll see her on our coverage coming up. Here's a little tease for you guys. We got some stuff with the Winchester Mystery House. You know, that's my favorite time of year, October, when all the scary stuff comes up. And we also may have some tickets for you guys for the Winchester Mystery. Same as last year, except... We're not going to have you guys give us scary stories. It's a little different this time. You'll find out next month what that is. What was I talking about? See, now I'm already thinking October. What was I talking about?
I don't like scary stories, though. Now you've got me afraid.
Well, I'm going to send you to the one we had in New York last year. They invited us, but obviously we're here in San Francisco. But now that you're there, you can go to Nightmare NYC. I wonder what it is this year. That one's really, really scary.
Oh, man. I might need people to go with me.
You'll have them. That's what we were talking about. See, that's why she's a perfect co-host. We're talking about the new voices that are here. So let's start with, as I stand here behind the bridge of the Geek Speak, USS Geek Speak Show, is Joel.
Why, hello. My name is Joel.
Yeah, just Joel. Nothing fancy.
I'm a new voice that you'll be hearing quite often.
Yeah, so tell us about yourself, your social security number, your bank account number, all that stuff.
I'm actually pretty old, so my social security is 000000001.
Well, if you remember when Lee from Lee's Comics was on, he said his was 1, so Joel is even older than that.
Yeah,
Lee is number 1. No, but tell us about yourself. What makes you?
Damn that guy,
a geek. Damn you all to hell.
What makes me a geek?
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, it's hard to describe. I'm kind of just avid comic book reader. I've always grew up, reading Marvel comic books. I was really into anything cartoons, Looney Tunes, Simpsons, Captain Planet, Dragon Ball Z. I don't know, just
yes, Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know. I don't think they actually did that on the show, but that's my Japanese impression.
That was close.
I don't know. It's so weird here.
That's what it was.
It's so weird hearing my
get
voice.
Get a bucket close to you guys or something. I thought you. Anyway.
Kamehameha! That's as geeky as it gets, I guess.
That's us geeking out. Yeah, sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, it's no longer words or sentences, just sound effects.
Yeah, so Joel, like I said, he's going to be one of the new co-hosts on here.
So excited.
You'll see him probably on our video coverage also. You'll probably see him on the video show also. There will be times when this is going to be something new on the Geek Speak Show, that when I won't be here. It'll be Rachel, Joel, and some of the other people I'll introduce you to in a second. It may be not Rachel, not Henry, just Joel by himself, or just somebody else by himself. But nothing changes. In case you guys were wondering over the break, nothing changes. We still talk to whoever, movie people, TV people, actors, directors, comic book artists, comic book movie actors, and some new things. It stays the same. So let's introduce you.
It's still all the stuff that you guys really care about.
Yeah. Anything in geek culture, as we say. Not pop culture. We won't talk about the Kardashians.
No.
Joel might. He likes that kind of stuff. But when he does, we'll do that to his microphone. So, let's do the next person. That would be Jae Gibbs. Oh, Jae Gibbs actually is kind of special because not only Ariel, see, it seems like everybody goes away. When I go away, you guys feel like you need to go away also. We also lost David Lee. Not, he's not gone to wherever, somewhere else, but he has work issues also. Everybody with this work thing, man, just do radio. What do you got to work for? But David Lee's, he does the comics commentary. He's not going to be able to do it. He may come in every now and then and do a little guest one, or I'll just have him on as a guest when there's big comic book events going on, like AVX and things like that. But comics commentary is not going away. It's going to be taken over by this next person. Her name is Jae Gibbs. Hi, Jae.
Hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, we already know each other. We've met each other before, so let's just say hi, everybody, and welcome on board the show officially.
Hi, everybody.
And Jay, I'll let her talk for himself. But Jay, she's the girl David Lee. As scary as that thought sounds, she knows comic books backwards, forwards, sideways, different dimensions, whatever it is. So go ahead, tell them about you and whatever you want to tell them.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Jay, soon to be Mrs. Gibbs, and I am geeky because I chose my wedding date based on the end of the Mayan calendar and supposedly the end of the world, and we're having a big Firefly Serenity zombie theme.
Ariel loves it already.
We're gonna get totally dressed up in our steampunk finery and do the Thriller dance, and it's gonna be a good time.
Something for you, I forgot to tell you. At Celebration, there's an artist, Jason Palmer. He did a whole line of Serenities, like T-shirts.
Aww.
You should totally look into that.
I will.
Hi, Jason.
Definitely look him up.
He actually was on with us on the show in our first year, so he listens. He's a friend of the show.
Friend of the show. All right. Send me some free swag. But other than that, I put on my Batman panties every day, and I go out and I fight the forces of evil until bedtime.
But you won't find pictures of that on our website.
I'm not sure.
You never know with this crew.
They're not the same pair, right?
I refrain from comment. I do a lot of laundry.
Okay.
I have like 15 Batman t-shirts and underwear sets. Everything is Batman with me, except when it's Spider-Man. Every once in a while, I cheat on my lover Batman.
And now you will know why I have her here. Spider's always been my favorite too.
Spiders in your pants.
Henry and I had the conversation the first day that I was here. I came to visit the studio, and I said, who would win in a battle of wits? Barbara Gordon or... oh, God, I just forgot the name of the character. Gwen Stacy. Because they're both hot cops' daughters. They're both super smart. They're both very active in their community. And I think we decided that Gwen Stacy would win if it's just a game of wits, like if they're playing chess or something like that. But if it turns out to be some kind of a fist fight, Barbara's got her cold.
That's a fair assumption. Okay, I like it.
Batgirl would have to take the brainy beauty out.
See, whenever we have an opening here on the Geek Speak Show, that's the kind of interviews you guys are going to have to go through. Most places you go to, like, so tell me where you see yourself in 5 years. Here, it's things like that. I'm going to ask you questions like that. Sith, Jedi, Dark Knight.
My answer is still playing with my Legos.
What?
In 5 years, I'm still going to be playing with my Legos.
Very nice, very nice.
Star
You're still going to
Wars
be cosplaying and...
Yep. See? That's why I love you guys.
Lego.
You get it.
Lego my Lego.
So Jae Gibbs is one of the voices. Another one is somewhere in the studio. He's probably playing with the cameras over from the video show set. Shartimus Prime, you guys all know him. That's the reason why he plays with cameras, because he's a big world famous. It's on the internet. It's all over the world. He's a world famous YouTuber, Shartimus Prime. He, like Rachel, loves collecting action figures, and he reviews them. I mean, meticulously reviews them. I've never seen a Transformers review, toy review, as detailed as what Shartimus does. He goes into the fist and why it's the way it looks, the kung fu grip and all kinds of stuff, whatever they call that. He loves the Marvel Legends. You guys all know him. So Shartimus Prime, he's probably breaking one of the cameras, but he'll be in here shortly, and you will hear from Shartimus Prime. He's somewhere around there. So those are some of the new voices. Another one of the new voices. I need to take a break because I'm getting a little hungry. I'm going to take a break right now, and I'll introduce you to another of the new voices. This one's a feature. Another one also. As we record this on Wednesday, it's also for me, kickoff to NFL 2012, Giants Cowboys tonight. Since we started this show 3 years ago, I've always gotten emails, I've gotten things, comments from listeners at conventions, at WonderCon and Comic-Con and all the things that we go to. How come you guys don't talk fantasy football? We tried it the first year. I'm not into fantasy football. I play the real football. I actually go out and tackle you guys. Joel.
He tackled me, actually.
Yeah, Joel hasn't gotten a real tackle yet.
I'm like Barbara Gordon. My spine's broken. I'm in a wheelchair forever
so
now.
Call him Joracle now. But we're finally gonna get somebody who's gonna talk fantasy football for all of you guys. So it's we've always said, I forget who we talked to. Oh, it was a writer. I forget, Ethan Gilsdorf. He wrote the Dungeons and Dragons game. We talked about how fantasy football is just like Dungeons and Dragons. You know, you the stats and all that stuff. That's your attributes. That's your XP. Yeah, I used to play too. The quest, whatever it is, that's the campaign. That's the season for the team. So it's the same thing. So all those jocks who didn't want to hang out with us, guess what? You're just like us, no different, like it or not. Plus, it's our world. Welcome to it.
We're all geeks here.
Exactly. It wasn't us. Well, maybe Ariel and Louise. It wasn't us who went to the Avengers 1.5 billion times over the summer. Okay, maybe Rachel too. But we're gonna have that. You're gonna hear that, and it's also a familiar voice. It's our old producer Kyle. He's coming back to do that because he's a big, huge sports geek. Like I said, let me take a break right now. When we come back, you will meet another one of the new features. It's a pretty cool one, actually. This is Jay will cover comics commentary, all the stuff that is happening now in DC and Marvel, Independence, anything else, the current ones. Mark Arnold, you guys saw him at the Lee's Comics video that we had. He will be doing the past and also non-superhero comic books. He'll do interviews with old artists, not age old, but I mean the ones from
Blast from
way
the past.
back. Yes, we'll call it the stories behind the stories. Kind of makes sense. It will in a second. Stay right there. You'll find out exactly what I'm talking about.
The Geek Speak Show will be right back. Comics Commentary with Jae Gibbs on the Geek Speak Show.
Avengers 2, due out in 2015. Joss Whedon has been confirmed as being the writer-director, while he is also, in the meantime, developing a S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series, S.H.I.E.L.D. being the secret government agency that helps the Avengers out in their time of need. And Ben Affleck, who was in talks with Warner Brothers and DC Comics to direct a possible future Justice League film, is out of talks. He's confirmed that he's definitely not going to do it, which, a little bit sad. But on the forefront of that, DC and WB are still working, trying to get together the talent for a Justice League film for 2015 to compete with Avengers 2. And they are in talks with the Wachowski siblings, the writer-directors of the Matrix trilogy, Speed Racer, and the adaptation of my personal favorite, V for Vendetta. Speaking of Justice League, out now in your local brick-and-mortar store, wherever you buy your comics and graphic novels, the issue 12 of the New 52, DC's Justice League, on the cover, Superman and Wonder Woman making out. That's right, Superman and Wonder Woman are going to be the hot new super couple in the DC universe. They are becoming official, canon. This is not something that's supposed to be undone. This is not something that they pulled out of nowhere. They are really trying to build a romantic, long-term relationship between the two biggest names in comic book history. The perfect man, the perfect woman. Does that make it the perfect relationship? I was really dismayed when I first heard about this because a long time ago in a book by Frank Miller called The Dark Knight Returns, there was a dystopian future wherein Superman and Wonder Woman were a little out of character for themselves. Superman was a little older, had a little distinguished gray on the side, and it was a darker world. Obviously, it's being written by Frank Miller. It's going to be dark. And it was sort of a side story. It didn't really have a lot to do with The Dark Knight returning. It was just that Frank wanted to tell a story that he wanted to tell. And it's a good story, but I personally didn't like the way it was handled. Because Wonder Woman was in lust with Superman. Not in love with him, not enamored of him, not respecting him. But she wanted to be with him based solely on the fact that he could best her in physical combat, which isn't completely out of character for an Amazon, but it's a little too Red Sonja for my liking, and when you have to derail a character in order to make them fit in a romantic entanglement, they're no longer that character. It doesn't fit within the universe. Yes, it fit within that story because it was a darker world and it's not considered part of the main continuity. But I was always afraid that if DC ever decided to go that direction, they would really go that direction and make it a dark, scary, uncomfortable kind of situation wherein Diana and Clark or just Superman and Wonder Woman, without knowing each other's secret identities, have chemistry without having something underneath it, something supporting that relationship. Not only that, but because Wonder Woman is, you know, a truly strong, independent female character and not just a surface character, I was so afraid that she would lose her individual identity if she ever became part of a romantic relationship with someone who's just as famous, just as powerful, just as good looking as Superman, as she is herself. I mean, she's really the gender flipped idea of the Superman character. They even kind of look alike. They've got the blue eyes, the light skin, the black wavy hair, and the red, white, and blue, and sometimes gold outfit. They're the all-American man and woman. I don't know if it's going to stick. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but it's happening, and it's interesting, and it's kind of a big deal. Superman, in this issue, is really pulled apart by the villain that the Justice League has been building up in the New 52, who sends these sort of ghostly, wraith-like characters. The villain's name is Graves, and he has these apparitions that are known as Pretas that imitate the dead loved ones of everybody in the Justice League. This is one of the good things about the issue. I don't want to put the issue down. It's really interestingly handled. The Pretas imitate the dead loved ones of everybody in the Justice League. And they say some really interesting things. I personally was very touched and even a little bit choked up when Bruce Wayne, Batman's parents, are talking to him and they're like, Bruce, why? Why would you do this to yourself? You don't have to avenge us. You don't have to torture yourself. We're happy. And all we've ever wanted for you is your personal happiness. We're your parents and we love you. Let it go. And it's not what the book is about, but just that little moment, that little detail, the effort that was put into it was magical for me personally. And then we go to the Kents, who in the new continuity died several years ago. I'm not sure how long ago exactly, but at least 5 or 6 years ago. Right around the time that Superman was becoming Superman. The Kents died of natural causes. They were just old, and they're human, and they weren't able to keep up with their superpowered immortal son. And this gives Superman an interesting character motivation, because he's still Clark Kent. He's still the big blue Boy Scout. He's still an all-American Kansas boy who's come to the big city to make good. But at the same time, he's alone in the universe. He's the last son of Krypton. He is a god among normal men. And Diana of Themyscira, this sort of attaché, this Justice League sort of caretaker, this mother figure, this goddess, is sent out into the world of men, although she's not a part of it. She stands on the sidelines and communicates back and forth like any good diplomat, but at the same time, she's something sort of more and something sort of alien. She has the superpowers, she has the immortality, and she's a princess, so she's got the kick-ass title to go along with the outfit. And she really relates to Superman in this moment, in the sort of end of the comic book that's captured on the cover, which is that they both say they feel so alone, and they are. So why not put them together? And that's why I think, even though I wasn't on board initially, it might be a good idea to have Superman and Wonder Woman hook up, because they're the same in so many ways. Maybe they're too the same, maybe it's not going to work out long term, and everybody, of course, wants to see Diana end up with Steve Trevor. I know I do. I love the character of Steve Trevor. And in the New 52, Steve Trevor has been built up as this sort of Nick Fury-style character, that he's a leader of men, and he's a war hero, and he's a complete badass. And he's in love with Wonder Woman. But it's an unequal pairing. He constantly is in the line of fire. He's constantly getting hurt, almost being killed, because people want to target Wonder Woman, and they know that they can get to her by getting to him. So what's that got to do to a man's sense of masculine pride? What's that got to do to a character's feelings of self-worth in the long run? And how does someone like Wonder Woman, someone who's new to the mortal world, who might be a little precocious, a little naive, handle a romantic relationship, especially with a man that can't be a part of her world, but she's a part of his? How does she love someone that she instinctively feels is not the same as her, may even be beneath her? And I definitely don't think that Steve Trevor is in any way beneath her. And I know that fans of Superman, probably despite a love-hate relationship with any Lois Lane type character, know that eventually, yeah, he's gonna get together with Lois. He has to. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always going to be. Just like Spider-Man is eventually going to get together with Mary Jane, no matter what continuity you're in. It's the reality of the situation. These people love each other. They're soulmates. They were designed for each other in a very literal sense, because literally they're fictional characters and they were made to go together. But I don't know. Are these ideas outdated? Am I holding fictional characters to a real world standard that's unreasonable? Or do I still feel like at any moment DC is going to pull the rug out from under me as a reader? Do I feel like they're building Steve Trevor or Lois Lane up for a big fall? Like they're going to kill off the character only to bring them back from the dead later so that they can hurt me with some kind of emotional torque and, sell a big product? Like the idea of Wonder Woman and Superman salaciously kissing on the cover of Justice League. Is it a bad idea to put these things out there? Or is it so crazy that it just might work? And I'm really excited about it. I want to see more. I don't know where it's going, but I'm glad it went there. And that's it for Comics Commentary for this week. And I will see you next Wednesday, because Wednesday is Comic Book Day.
Now back to the Geek Speak Show. We are back on Geek Speak Show. So you met the new voices, the new features. You're slowly meeting the new features. One of them is right here in front of you, Mr. Mark Arnold. Last year, you saw him literally at our second video show shoot that was done at Lee's for their 30-year anniversary. He's, I think, the second interview, the interview right after Lee. He's the one that told all those dark secrets about Lee. Yeah. No, that was Mark Arnold. He's an author, comics historian, and awesomely cool guy. Mark, welcome aboard, actually.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So tell everybody your feature is going to be called The Stories Behind the Stories. Tell us a little bit what that's
the stories behind the stories. Henry's given me the chance to do this because I've interviewed people over the years for my fanzine, Harveyville Fun Times, and for my various books about Archie Comics, Cracked Magazine, The Beatles. I didn't interview The Beatles, but different books like that. And he said, you're a good interviewer. Why don't you bring some of your knowledge and some of these people onto the show with us so you can hear what they sound like and have them talk about what they're currently working on.
Plus, we got to school these kids. There's more than just Stan Lee and Dan Didio, and the comic books doesn't just mean Green Lantern, Superman, and Spidey and all that. There's a lot more to it than just the superheroes and the big two, right?
Right. I mean, I have an advantage because I do love the non-superhero stuff as much as the superhero stuff. So I'll be interviewing people that work for Harvey Comics. They publish Casper and Richie Rich. Interview people that work for Archie Comics. That's obvious. They publish Archie. Mad Magazine, and anything in the past. If they did comic strips or if they did animation. Everything's fair game that's in the general geek speak genre.
So it's a non-boring history lesson, in other words. So
correct.
Let's get started with the first one. Not going to have Mark tell you what it is, because just sit there, listen to it. Here it is. The stories behind the stories.
The stories behind the stories with Mark Arnold, exclusively on the Geek Speak Show.
This is Mark Arnold at The Stories Behind the Stories, and on today's show we have Peter Bagg. And Peter Bagg is best known for Neat Stuff and Hate And he continues to produce fine comic book series and miniseries like Apocalypse Nerd and Sweatshop. And his most recent project is Reset, that's just been published by Dark Horse. Hi, Peter. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
And just want to move backwards and then get up to the speed on what you're currently working on. I've talked to you before, but tell us about your earliest years working for Cracked magazine and how that came about.
Cracked magazine. Well, I don't know what the demographic is for your listening audience, but Cracked now is known as a satirical website.
Yes.
But and it's pretty funny. But it used to be a very second-rate ripoff of Mad magazine. I think it started in the late '50s, and ceased to exist as a Mad type magazine. Probably 10 years ago. I can't quite remember. Maybe even long. Yeah, about 10, 15 years ago it stopped. And my only experience with it was for a while there in the mid-'80s. An old friend of mine became the editor, so he hired me as a writer. I just wrote stuff for them. And he would tell me what to write. Like, again, we're talking about the 80s, so for a while Dolly Parton had a variety show, so I wrote a satire of the Dolly Parton show, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I collaborated at least once with Dan Clowes and John Severin a few times, and Bob Fingerman, I think, a bunch of times.
It's always surprising to me that they didn't allow you to draw for Cracked because you're a pretty good artist. So.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the editor, at the time, Cracked was just owned by a bunch of mobsters, and either he asked or he just knew for a fact that they would despise my artwork, so he didn't even try to push them. He went ahead, like at one point he went ahead and used artwork by Dan Clowes, and the people that owned the magazine, the publishers, they couldn't stand Clowes' artwork. They said, "Don't ever use that guy again." So he hired Dan again, but Dan changed his name to Stash Gillespie, and for some reason all of a sudden it was fine. They had no complaint about Stash Gillespie, just not that Dan Clowes.
Maybe that's what you should have done.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he didn't. I took his word for it. For whatever reason, he just thought my artwork would never fly, and I wasn't going to push it. It's like I didn't want to risk getting settling for a kill fee. So
right. Fair enough, but
writing is easier.
Right.
I preferred writing.
But your artwork did appear in the preeminent humor magazine Mad at various times, and still does on occasion, right?
Yeah, starting about 10 years ago. Now I can't even remember, but yeah, roughly the last 10, 12 years. Maybe once a year I'll do something for them.
That's good.
Actually, now it's been a while since I've done anything for them. But in that instance, it was the art director, who also another old acquaintance who contacted me. And there it's the opposite. They just hand me a script and have me illustrate it.
So, you still put out an occasional hate. I guess you still have the hate annuals. Is that correct? And so we get newer...
but it's not the least bit annual anymore, and that's entirely my fault. I just the problem now is that as you know, with changes in the marketplace, everything is graphic novels now.
Mm-hmm.
So I wind up making agreements with various publishers to do graphic novels, even if they're serialized like Reset was. It just becomes such a huge investment of time and concentration that I could never find the time in between these, what are ultimately massive projects. It's very hard for me to get out a hate annual. Because a hate annual isn't something that I just dash out. It's also something that takes a lot of time and thought. But it's just gotten it's gotten impossible for me to do it. I still want to do it, though. That's still my intention, is to keep the Buddy Bradley story going. And I have plenty of ideas for him. But, it's just so hard to squeeze in with these other projects.
Where can we see you in the near future, or or is there a website or any other thing you'd like to plug at this point?
Oh, I've got peterbag.com, and I have a fan page that is very good about keeping everything up to date with what I'm doing on Facebook. I mean, I have a regular Facebook page, but it's much better just to go to the Pete Bag fan page to keep up with what's going on. And again, like I said, there's my own there's peterbag.com. But no, between now to the end of the year, no public appearances. Well, one in Sydney. I'm supposed to go to Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
I don't think that'll be too convenient for your listeners. Unless they're a very devoted fan, then yeah, meet me there. That's going to be sometime in November.
Got it. Okay. Well, I wanted to thank you, Peter, for taking some time today to talk with us. I'll give a quick plug for my website first, and then, I'll say thanks again. You can hear any of these shows on my website, funideas.50webs.com. And again, Peter, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again real soon.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you,
Take care,
Peter.
Mark.
Talk to you soon.
You can hear the complete story behind the stories by going to funideas.50webs.com. That's 50webs.com. funideas.50webs.com. The stories behind the stories, exclusively on the Geek Speak Show.
This is Mark Zickery, writer, producer, and director of Space Command, and you're listening to the Geek Speak Show.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We are back on the Geek Speak Show. Rachel, you ready to get blown up?
Blown up? Yes, I want to be blown up.
Remember, Mark Zickery did say we are going to go on set and he's going to blow us up.
We're going to hold him to that as well.
Yes, we will. Space Command, I emailed him not too long ago during our break, has gone into production, so whenever we're in the LA area, he will go on set, and he promised he will give us, what did he call it, a flashy death scene?
Yes.
Yeah, so what?
Maybe fiery? I'm not sure what the word was, but it was good either way.
Well, we're going to be blown up, whatever it is. So welcome back to the Geek Speak Show. That's kind of morbid, but welcome back anyway. Space Command, one of the most, it has to be the quickest funded project on Kickstarter. A lot of them on there. Another one that's on there, we'll talk about it in a second, also happens to be here in the Bay Area, and I'm glad you're here for this one, Rachel, because it has a little bit something to do with you, what you like to do. You went to, what do we call it, a specialty school, specializes in multimedia, and it shows you how to do all the cool stuff, like the 3D things that we do. Aliens Took My Girl is the motion comic that you guys were working on when I met you.
That's right.
And there's another school here, BAYCAT, in San Francisco. You guys can go to baycat.org. It is up on our links section. Just click on there, all easy for you guys. You have the president, the founder, the CEO, and what did you call yourself also? Villy Wang is who it is.
The crazy person that started BAYCAT?
Yeah, the crazy person that started BAYCAT. So first thing, anybody who hasn't heard about BAYCAT, tell us what is BAYCAT?
Totally. Thanks for having us on here. We're a nonprofit social enterprise that I started that teaches the digital media arts, so everything from graphic novel creation to animation, video gaming, filmmaking, music production, to underserved youth. And we work primarily with youth ages 11 to 25. I think the cool thing about us is we not only educate, but we employ our young people. So we have a professional studio that actually works with corporate clients from Bank of the West to Union Bank to San Francisco Foundation to Yahoo. And when we get hired through the studio, we get to hire our graduates from the program.
Excellent. And where is it located?
It's located in the sexy Dogpatch area of Potrero these days. So it's on 3rd and 20th Street.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty close to public transportation there, although parking, kind of like in our studio, is a little harder around there sometimes. So there, like I was mentioning, Rachel did go to one, I think it was the Academy of Art?
Academy of Art, that's right.
Yeah, so and there's a lot of specialty schools, multimedia schools, especially now the multimedia is everywhere.
Yeah, and before there wasn't that many. There, you'd look up Institute of Arts and other versions of that, and they'd only have 3, big specialties like graphic design or film or maybe animation. And now the multimedia thing is catching on. So that was actually one thing I wanted to know is, what, if anything, sets BAYCAT apart from other of those new media schools that are in the same city?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think the first thing is we're free. Haha. But it's,
that is good.
Yeah, we're free. And it's really because we're catering to those young people who don't normally have access to this kind of education as well as exposure. Many of the young people that we work with, they don't have computers at home. They're not growing up with the technology. They don't have, parents or themselves having smartphones. So exposing and accessing, giving that opportunity to young people growing up with that huge digital divide, that's one gap that we're really trying to fill. So that makes us really different. So because the program is free, you have to apply.
Okay. Yeah. Rachel's probably thinking, where were you when I needed to go to school?
I know. I owe my firstborn child to the state. So, well, tell us how to apply then, because this is awesome.
Sure. Well, we are always looking for applicants every semester. So we offer fall, summer, and spring classes. Right now, we are in the final throes. If you're really interested in applying, get online to BAYCAT.org and go to the education section, and you'll see an application, so you can apply online. We do look at the overall interest of the young person, and of course, where they want to go with their lives. So if they're talented, they're curious about this, and we're looking for people who don't normally have access to this. So, if you've got the state-of-the-art studio at home right now, and we may not be able to pick you because we are looking for a certain demographic.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that. Is anyone denied admission?
We try not to deny anybody, but, honestly, given that we now have a great reputation, we usually get more applicants than we do spots. So what we do look at is we look at the need, and we definitely address kids coming from very low income opportunities, homes. And we also, to the extent we have to, we go through a lottery system if we have more applicants than spaces.
What were we going to say, Rachel?
I was going to say about the courses, actually. I know I looked on the website, and like we were talking about before, there's not just one or two major things. I saw for the summer you have like photography and music production and documentary and stuff. So what are some of the things that are really cool to you that maybe you're going to have in the fall?
Yeah, so we continue the music production track. So, these guys are learning to create beats. They're using in all the programs and all the classes that you just mentioned, we teach what the pros are using. So they're learning all the Adobe suites. They're learning Pro Tools on the sound and music production side. What's cool about that is, not only do a lot of the kids get to create their first beat, but they also learn to work as a team. So if you look at episode 24, which is on the BAYCAT 05 YouTube channel, you'll see that it's actually a small production company. The music production folks got to create the beats for the documentary films. They got to score some of them, and they also created their own music videos. Guess who got to record them? It was the video filmmaking class that got to record them too, right? So there's that whole teaching cooperation and learning to be a little mini production studio right from the get-go.
I tell you what, too, the collaboration between departments working on a project like that, even in my school, you had to like fight for that. You know what I mean? And to have that be part of the program, I think is going to be one of your biggest assets.
Totally. And, I think, I was one of those kids who loved the arts growing up. And, I got the little patronizing pat on the back that said, oh, that's nice. You're an artist. Go get a real job,
Yep.
We want to say to these kids, hey, it's possible. If you're talented in this, I'm not going to kid you. It's competitive. It's really difficult to get a job in this field. But one of those things you got to learn from the beginning is how to work with people. And so that's why we teach those soft skills together with the technical skills. And what's cool, just like you're saying, Rachel, with like graphic arts, right? A lot of people also don't think about the integration of that. So imagine these kids are also designing T-shirts, the cover art for the DVD and distribution for the website. Like we're teaching them how to think about the marketing and distribution of their own work right from the beginning.
As a whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any success stories from like former students or current students or anything like that?
Yeah, so between the Zoom In show, which we now have 24 episodes, and we also for the 18 to 24-year-olds, we have an internship program. We've had 7 community cinema films come from that. Last year, we were in 12 festivals. So we submit the shorts and the pieces to different festivals and different screenings. And we're talking about 12 festivals around the world. So we have a piece that was filmed in Bayview Hunters Point that's in India, right? That's pretty cool.
That's awesome, yeah.
So we have young people who normally might have challenges, in school academically, and we have a few that have won awards in festivals, not just in San Francisco, but across the nation. So it's a pretty special thing, not just to be recognized by your own friends and family that you have this talent, but yes, when you go to, see your film on the big screen or see your artwork in the cover art, it's pretty exciting.
You mentioned that you call it the Zoom Festival?
Zoom in. Yes.
Yeah. Are there any open houses or anything that displays or shows off the students' projects?
Totally. We do 3 open houses a year. So at the end of every semester, we believe that, every kid's story matters and that their work matters. The first people that have to see it is their friends and family and all our community. So we have, for the summer, for example, we had over 200 people showing up. And we're talking about people representing Pixar or Twitter or, folks in industry in addition to their friends and family. And, when that happens, there's that transformation. The first time you show off your art and people applaud or they give you comments back, right. It changes you. It makes you feel like you can do this. So the open houses are a big part of our strategy to let the young people know that they are welcomed as artists and that they could have a future in this.
How do you get the word out to the Pixars, the Twitters? Do you just invite them, or do they hear about it?
Yeah, well, shows like yours, it's about that 1 degree of separation, or if you're listening and you think this is cool, people pick up the phone and they contact us and they say, hey, I want to help out. How can I help out? It's taken years to develop relationships that stick. This is not easy to do, and it takes years to develop the right kinds of conversations and relationships. So, for example, we just got, somebody from Pixar to join our board. He's now the chair, Eric Pearson. So to have a representative like that, it also sets the stage for others. So the word of mouth, thank you for putting us out there, because that's what it takes. It takes every person who's listening to help us out.
What's even more invaluable, I would say, is having someone like Eric on the staff. He's also able to talk to the students about what it's like, or what they can expect when they actually go out into, quote unquote, the real world and try to get a job in the industry.
Totally. I mean, just for example, he's been able to bring his editor, post-production people. He's a post-production manager. So not just seeing what production's like, but post-production is really important. He's brought a team to BAYCAT to also do and show tell, and we've also had our interns sit in the auditorium where they show their selects at Pixar to do a constructive critique. So can you imagine you're sitting in the same auditorium where John Lasseter is showing off, the first cut, or the editors are showing that off to him, and they're getting a professional critique from other professionals.
If you can sit in George Lucas's home movie theater that he has, Rachel would love that, I know, for sure.
I'm first in line for this.
Yeah, so we're talking to Villy Wang. She's the founder, president, CEO of BAYCAT, baycat.org. If you want to go to directly, you can go to our link section. It's all on there for you. Bad news. It's a little sad. What was it, in July? You guys experienced a theft in the studios. So talk about that.
Yeah, we had 30 kids this summer. It was the 5th week of our summer media camp. And somebody overnight came in through the roof and grabbed all the student laptops.
They Mission Impossibled the laptops.
They Missioned Impossible. It totally was a scene from Mission Impossible. No sensors, alarms were thrown off in the entire building. It was a Houdini act.
That's awful.
We can say, the laptops, they're replaceable, but it had all the students' projects on there.
For real. And, many of these kids were working for 5 weeks. And for all the comic book artists here in the crowd, you can imagine they had all their original work. And fortunately, we were able to recover the raw footage on all the video side, but unfortunately, the graphic art side, the kids who did the comic books all lost their original work. Really bad way to teach an 11-year-old how to back up. That was not, but we just took the situation. It was a really difficult day. most of these kids come from situations where, you know, this is not the first time they lost something. And BAYCAT's a safe place. So for this to happen in our own space, in this really safe space, it really knocked us off our feet for that day. You know?
And how have you reacted, or what have you been doing to recover from that?
Yeah, so, you know, between the local businesses, you know, Pixar had donated all these towers. We basically, had to do a makeshift stations. So we had to replace the computers. We had people bringing up monitors and just literally bringing stuff to BAYCAT to replace the computers. We only had 2 weeks left, so we had to do two things. One, we had to make sure that the students felt ready to create again. And they were. They said, you know what, we want to show the world that, because the open house you just talked about, that was 2 weeks away. You know, so they said the show must go on. And I said, okay, that is the basis of our campaign then. So we figured out how much. Battle cry. Yeah, battle cry. We figured out how much it would cost to replace the equipment. It's $50,000 because everything we have is state of the art. It's not just the MacBook Pros; it's all the software, right? Right. So the kids and the team, incredible, amazing BAYCAT team, just rocked it, and we put together this campaign to raise $50,000 in 50 days. So we recovered, and the youth were able to basically recreate the graphic novel, and they finished. So the show was completed. We had amazing music videos with Trackademics, you know, with Freeway being released. With the graphic novel was printed and published, and a full show with 4 documentary shorts on there. It's amazing. You have to see it.
That's awesome. Is there anything that listeners can do to either, you know, I know you said go to the website, but if somebody wanted to help in some way, what are you looking for mostly if they wanted to?
Yeah, well, at this rate, we have, you know, less than 35 hours left. So the first thing you could do is definitely go to our website, baycat.org. There's a splash page. You're going to see why J. Raj is upset. He's one of the youth media producers that really took a stand to speak up, you know, on behalf of the rest of the youth. And you could help him be less upset by contributing to the campaign. If you don't have money, the other thing you could do is please tweet it, you know, Facebook it, share it in your social media network. We've had lots of articles written about it, and you could see that in all the updates on the Indiegogo campaigns. So the Show Must Go On campaign, you could get it off our website.
Yeah, and I think I saw it this morning on your Facebook page. Somebody from Italy, was it contributed something?
Totally. We've had people from Japan and Italy. You know, BAYCAT's message and story, our media, just like yours, is worldwide. So the audiences that heard about this from around the globe are contributing. And we had a special fan, Fuvio, put together a handwritten little sign that says, "The show must go on." So thank you, all the supporters out there.
Yeah, you guys can take a look at that. Go to their Facebook page. It's all on there. And when do classes start? When does the fall semester begin?
Yeah, we're starting next week. So in good faith, we had to purchase the new equipment and start, you know, getting the ball rolling. So we're excited. We're going to be at Philip Burton High School. So the other thing is we also go to the high schools. We'll be starting at Philip Burton and starting our BAYCAT classes next Monday.
That's good. So again, it's BAYCAT, baycat.org if you want to go to directly. She's Villy Wang. She's the founder, president, CEO of BAYCAT. You're welcome back, and you can bring your students next time to take a look at the studios that we have here. We'll probably hire some of them here to help us out.
We'd love that.
We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna take a little break now. But again, thanks a lot for coming in. You're welcome back anytime. If you can get the word out, anything we can help you out with, don't be afraid to contact us, and we'll have you on and help you out in any way we can.
For sure. Thanks for having me today.
Okay, so we will take a little break. When we come back, well, how about we read a little bit? Let's do the book club.
It's time for the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Our books or graphic novels. Tell us what your favorites are. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com.
And we are back on the Geek Speak Show, so time to read a little bit, or have you guys read a few of our books. So this, I had a whole month actually to read a bunch of books, so I have a whole bunch of them. You guys can suggest yours, like I said, books at thegeekspeakshow.com, books at the Geek Speak Show. Remember, it's got to be in the sci-fi, fantasy, horror, or a mashup of those genre. Graphic novels are okay. No comic books, behind-the-scenes kind of books, those are okay also. I actually got an advance, thanks to Scholastic. I got an advance of, it just came out August 28th. It's called Infinity Ring. It's a series of books. Book 1 It's called The Mutiny in Time, written by James Dashner. And James happens to be on the phone with us. James, welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
Hey, thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have you here, actually, because, like I said, I got an advanced copy. It's out in stores now. It's also up on our links page. You guys can order it on there. Really enjoyed A Mutiny in Time. This is targeted towards a younger audience, but you know, I'm a little older, obviously, but I enjoyed it also. It's also has an online game in it. So tell us a little bit about the Infinity Rings, the book and the series.
Okay, yeah, it's a really cool thing coming out from Scholastic. It's a multi-platform deal with. It's going to be a 7-book series, and different authors are working on it together. And it also has an online game that interacts with the books. It's the main plot, I guess, is that history has disastrously gone off course. Things have happened throughout time called the Great Breaks that have just messed up reality and messed up the fabric of time. And these 3 kids discover a time machine device that they have to go back and set things straight. In the first book, we get to meet Christopher Columbus and in that time period.
Right, and so, like you said, this is going to be a 7-book arc. When Scholastic first approached you about this, because you've done books for them before, the 39 Steps, I think it was called, right? The first one you did for them.
That's a similar series by Scholastic. I've also written the Maze Runner series,
right,
and a series called The 13th Reality.
Yeah, and this one, as you mentioned, it's going to be not just you. You actually you have the distinction of kicking off the series, and you're actually going to write the final book in the series. But in between will be other authors. How hard is it to, number one, come up with the whole storyline, and especially you, since you have to start it and then end it?
It's a really unique thing that I've never done before, but it's been a lot of fun. When Scholastic approached me about being the architect of the series, it was a no-brainer. I was thrilled to do it. And the first step in the process was I sort of outlined the whole series based on a simple idea they had. And then they brought in other authors. And at first I was really nervous about it, handing over my story to other authors and, worried about styles conflicting and stuff like that. But it's actually been really, really cool, just very collaborative process. We all work together well, and it's been a very positive, fun experience.
Yeah, and like I said, you get to start it off. But how I know you can't speak for them, but how hard do you think it will be, since you pretty much design Dak and Sarah and Rick, which are the characters in the story? How hard would it be for them to pick up what James wrote? And you can't really make it your own once they start writing, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be a challenge. I think that they'll add their own flavor to it. But I'm a little nervous about writing the 7th and last book, which I'll do when they're done with their version or with their editions. In the 7th and last book, you have to wrap it all up and make sure you, explain all the loose ends and stuff. So it's going to be a fun challenge, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, like everything else in life, we have multimedia for everything. So Infinity Ring included. It is a book, but it's also, like you mentioned, an online game goes with it. So talk a little bit about the online game.
Yeah, it's really unique and fun. I think it's going to help some of those reluctant readers. Basically, with each book, you're getting 2 adventures. The one you read in the actual book itself, and then when you're done with a book, it gives you a code, and you go to the online game and take the place of the characters in the books to solve a different mission in a different period of time. And the website and the game they're just amazing. The graphics, it's 3D. You get to interact with historical figures and, Rome, actual recreations of these cities throughout history. I think kids are really going to love it.
Yeah, and again, we're talking to James Dashner, author of the Infinity Ring series, one of the authors. Book 1, A Mutiny in Time, out in stores now. You guys can go in our link section, order it on there if you haven't gotten it yet already. Also have a link to James's website. You can go there directly, jamesdashner.com, if you want to do that. For the first book, A Mutiny in Time, like you mentioned, it's about Christopher Columbus. Out of all the events in history, why did you settle on going with Christopher Columbus's voyage?
Well, I've always been a history dork. I love history. And as I was brainstorming about this, I just thought, what's more iconic to a kid in elementary school than Christopher Columbus? It's just,
right.
If you name something you learned in elementary school, it seems like that story pops up in my head. So it just seemed like a real thrill to go back and actually have him as a character and, play the what if game on, how the world would be different if he had not discovered America or someone else had discovered it instead of him. So it was just really fun to explore that story.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about this also, because like I told you before we started the interview, I actually read the book with my 9-year-old son, and it brought up questions that he may not even know about, because I'm not going to go into plot points here or characters, but there are some characters mentioned in there who are part of the mutiny who my son actually asked, hey, are they real? And it actually would cause a kid to go out and do a little bit of research and see if it is true.
Oh, that's cool. I love to hear that.
Yeah, so
and that's definitely a goal of the series. Is we want to entertain. That's our number one goal for the students and the kids to enjoy reading it. But I think it's also definitely subversively educational. It's a fun way to learn things about history to make you think. It's just a unique twist on history lessons, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we won't tell anybody. We'll keep it between you and I. They actually are getting a history lesson while they're having fun too. So don't let them in on that little secret.
Yeah, just keep it on the down low. Yeah.
Yeah, and the online game that goes with it it's kind of hard, I guess. I've never really written a video game before, but is it kind of hard to map out where it's going to go? Because you can pretty much go anywhere, really, with the online game, right?
Yeah, my task was really to focus on the books themselves, and Scholastic has their own team that worked hard and designed the game and the website and everything, and they'd come to me for some feedback or input, but mostly that was done by the in-house team at Scholastic. And as we've gone through the months, getting closer to the release, the demos they showed me and then the final version that everyone has seen now, it really blew me away. It far exceeded my expectations, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I played it myself, so yeah, it is definitely, it's very addicting. I'll call it that.
That's good.
Yeah. And so again, the book is Infinity Ring. Book 1 is A Mutiny in Time, written by James Dashner. James is going to be actually on a book tour for Book 1, and you're coming here to the Bay Area. You guys can go to the website; they're all on there. I believe it's in September or October, if I remember correctly, right? When you're coming here to the Bay Area.
Yeah, I think it's in October that I'll be in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just go to either Scholastic's website or my website, we have the tour schedule up.
Yeah, and when you do come, I believe it's at the Burlingame Public Library. I'll probably be out there, do a video interview so you guys can actually see James talk about the Infinity Ring.
Awesome.
Yeah, so besides the Infinity Ring, I know it's going to probably keep you busy for a while. Is there anything else we can expect from you in the meantime?
Yeah, I'm working on edits for a book that will be announced soon that will be coming out next fall. That's more for the young adult audience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now most of my focus is on this Infinity Ring and seeing it launch and going around meeting people around the country.
Yeah, so again, it is Infinity Ring, Book 1, A Mutiny in Time, written by James. James, thanks a lot for coming on. You're welcome back anytime to talk about any other project, but especially Infinity Ring, especially when we get around to the end. You're always welcome back. And we'll see you, like I said, when you do come to the Bay Area.
Okay, thank you. I am most definitely a geek, so it's good to be here.
So you're among family here.
All right.
So thanks, James, and we will talk to you next time.
Okay, thanks.
There, so that's my guy, James Dashner. Infinity Ring, it's out now, Book 1, A Mutiny in Time. You guys can go to jamesdashner.com or go to the book club section. The links are all on there. Rachel, you got a book?
I do. I actually have a pretty cool one. I've been able to spend a little time with my family lately, and my brother and I are, nerding out over various
Let me
things.
guess. Is it Star Wars?
No.
Let me write it down. What's the date? You didn't pick a Star Wars book?
You yell at me if I do too many Star Wars ones in a row. No, this one is actually cool for everyone, though, because it's called Physics of the Impossible. And it's a scientific exploration into the world of phasers, force fields, teleportation, time travel.
Wait, is that by Michio Kaku?
That one, yes. Okay.
I know him very well, actually. I used to run a show a long time ago.
Really?
He has a radio show, too.
You know everyone. Anyway, the point is, for any kind of geek, this one's great because it walks you through what is possible or what could be possible in the future, or how technology nowadays could lead to making some of these, sci-fi things possible. So it's just really cool as far as tying in some of the science and what is stuff that we would probably not see in our lifetime, and yet some things that we might be able to. So it's that blend between geek and nerd that we talk about, but it's great. And I started reading it, and it's awesome, so you should definitely get it.
So what is it called again?
It's called Physics of the Impossible, and then there's more of that. On the bottom, it says, a scientific exploration into the world of phasers, force fields, teleportation, and time travel.
By, again, Michio Kaku. And again, you guys should listen to his show. Not sure, you check your local listens. It's nationally syndicated, so I'm sure we get it somewhere in wherever you guys are listening to. Or just go, free plug from them. I used to work there. I used to work with Michio. Go to trn.com. It's all on there. He does talk about this kind of stuff, and it's very, very interesting. So that's Rachel's book. You can find that also on the book club link section. Who's next? Joel, you want to go?
Hey.
Since you're holding your book there.
Yeah, I'm holding my book.
Or are you going to throw the book at me?
I was going to throw my book at Jay, actually.
Yay!
So my book is called Asterios
No hazing on the
Polyp.
first day.
Yeah. Asterios Polyp by David Mazzucchelli. You guys probably know David Mazzucchelli from his work with DC and Batman Year One. But Asterios Polyp is the first graphic novel that he's written and drawn. It's actually a really weird book. It's all like in magenta, cyan, and yellow.
All right.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's like one of those books where when you read it, you like wonder like, what did I just read? So you reread it, and then you're like, oh, and then you start quoting stuff from it. It's like you learn something, but you didn't learn something. I don't know. And
there is no try.
And there's a little bit of like that Greek like Odyssey kind of thing, where it's like that classic story of a man trying to come home to his wife, and then he has to like go through a bunch of stuff.
A hero's journey.
A hero's journey, but
the classic.
I mean, if you like architecture, if you like art, if you like, I don't know.
If you like a weird story,
yeah.
If
you like a weird story, that's gonna one of those books where like, you read one page and then one page turns into 20 and to 30 and to.
So for this audience, and just say if you like Prometheus, you'll like this one.
Yes, if you like Prometheus, you'll like this
Where
one.
at the end you're like, huh?
But it's a good one, And
Jay, what do you got then?
I have my favorite novel of all time, which is American Gods by the effervescent Neil Gaiman. Just like Rachel's worried that she's going to plug too much Star Wars, I'm really worried I'm going to plug Neil Gaiman like every single week, every single month.
Well, I'll tell you the same thing. I tell Rachel, there's no such thing as too much plugging on this show.
All right, good to know.
A lot of Star Wars. Neil Gaiman, please. He's like an icon around here.
Yeah, he's my hero. I want him to.
She has
put
Neil
on some
Gaiman
tights.
bed sheets even.
Oh, I wish.
Gaiman me.
I think I just gave somebody an idea.
$1 million
Christmas is coming.
idea.
All right, so anyway, the book itself, I'm about halfway through the sequel book, which is Anansi Boys. It's more of a spin-off than a sequel, but American Gods is sort of a gothic retelling of the American dream. It's modern, it's postmodern, it's meta, and it's brilliantly put together. It's poetic, and it uses all of this research that Neil Gaiman has from working on comics and just other stories in the history of world religions and how they all came to America and were abandoned for something else, for American ideals. They were no longer institutionalized. And so the old gods are starved, literally starving for attention and just waiting to be found again. And they're going to rise up and start a war with the new gods, which are technology and television and radio.
Wow, what a really good book review.
I read it to cover like 3 or 4 times, so I'm obsessed with it.
Hey.
So what is it again? One more time?
American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
As if you guys didn't know. But again, all of these books will be linked up in our book club section. Just go on there. It's all there for you. And don't forget, you can suggest yours also. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com. And the next time you hear this, you want to be talking about your book.
That's the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Tell us what your favorite books or graphic novels are. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com.
We interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Now you'll be able to watch us speaking geek. The Geek Speak Video Show.
Coming soon to youtube.com/geekspeakvideos.
Subscribe now. Now back to the Geek Speak Show.
We are back on the Geek Speak Show. Almost forgot how to do this. So, introduce you to some new people. Thanks again to Villy Wang for coming in and telling us all about BAYCAT. BAYCAT.org if you guys want to go there directly. Or just go to our link section. All easy for you guys. So, Jay is here. Joel is playing with Shardamus in the new Geek Speak video show studio. They're breaking the camera or doing something, but you're here.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for your comics commentary. Again, David Lee hasn't left the show. He just he has some things to do, so Jae Gibbs will take over. No different. She knows comics probably a little bit more than David does. We'll see as time goes on. Yes,
Geek
it's a challenge.
War.
So, well, first of all, since you're the only new voice here, what'd you think of the show?
I think it sounded really good. I think that there were laughs and tears, and I think that we're doing a really good thing for the community, both for the geek community and for the local San Francisco community. I'm really proud of Villy Wang and the industry that she started here locally, and I hope that we get those kids some funding.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk to her off the air. She's still in our green room over there. I guess that's what they call the waiting room and in the biz, as they say. But we're going to talk about having some of the kids from BAYCAT come in here and help us out on the Geek Speak Show with our video show and here on the audio show, and to just have a lot of fun. Plus, how much more fun than talking to the Joss Whedons, the Stan Lees, and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Villy's eyes went wide. I was like, wow, really? You guys, they get to talk to those people? and kids, they love this stuff. They just saw Avengers had a big summer. Joss Whedon had a big summer. Dark Knight had a big summer. Spider-Man had a big summer. So we had a big summer, but we're back now. Yes, it's an all new show. Next week, well, it's going to be a surprise. I'm not going to tell you guys what we're going to do. You, however, we mentioned this, we haven't mentioned it on air. I'll say it now. Another one of the reasons besides you like Spider-Man, the reason why you're a co-host here, because you love Fringe like I do.
I do. I'm crazy about Fringe. I am not totally caught up because I wasn't watching it when it originally aired. I'm watching it all on DVD. But the new season of Fringe is coming out on the 4th. So just, what day is it today?
Today's the 28th, actually.
Okay.
Is when it's coming out.
Is it coming out the 28th? Okay. I had it switched around with
wait. What did you say? The season 4 on Blu-ray? No, actually, yeah, it's out now.
It's out now.
Yes.
That's okay. Great.
No, I was thinking
I'm gonna leave the studio and go pick it up.
Yeah, but season 5, the final season, begins Friday on Fox on September 28th. 2 weeks from now? 3 weeks from now?
Absolutely.
I'm phenomenal at math, as you guys all know. But surprise for you, who's one of the executive producers?
J.J. Abrams.
No, he's a creator.
Okay.
J.H. Wyman.
Oh, right.
He'll be on the Monday that it premieres to talk. You know how we do it on the show here. We won't talk spoilers, and I let him know that. And I don't want to know anything anyway. I just want to go in there
me neither.
And know what's going to happen in the last 13 episodes. But he'll come on. That's one of a little tease I'll give you. Another tease for you. You'll like this.
Giddy.
That same week, Batman is coming to San Jose.
What do you mean Batman is coming to San Jose?
Well, you're going to have to wait till that week and find out exactly what
you
it is.
tease. You're a naughty boy, Henry.
I'll tell you this. Batman is coming live Those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. Batman is coming live that week to San Jose and also to the Geek Speak Show.
I'm going to have to research this.
So, you know how we say, I'll give you those two little teases next week. Don't know. Just come back and we'll speak more geek.
The Geek Speak Show will be back next week with a brand new episode. In the meantime, follow them on Twitter at Geek Speak Show 1. That's the number 1. Become a fan on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes. Watch special event coverage and the Geek Speak video show on YouTube/Geek Speak Videos. And listen to past shows in the archive section on thegeekspeakshow.com. A big thank you to the Geek Speak Show's content providers, GeekTyrant.com, Collider.com, RamaScreen.com, and MightyVille.com. The Geek Speak Show.